Hello everyone. Okay, we meet again. Kita berjumpa lagi pada hari ini. Sorry, today I have to speak a little bit of BM because I plan to have my class for this slot is DWIBAHASA. Okay, so it can benefit more people, and I've made this the answers that on my slide in dual language. Okay, so that the students who take in DLP will benefit, and also the other students who take it in BM will also benefit. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, Puan Ko, thanks for joining. Thank you for supporting my class. I hope your students will benefit from this class. Yeah. Okay, and Minyin. Okay, good afternoon. Thanks for being here. All right. Okay. So today, I will make my first class. This technique menjawab very simple. Okay, I will start with the first two simple questions in the structure, which is paper 2. That means question 1 and question 2. So as you remember, ikut format baru KSSM. Soalan 1 jumlah markah ialah 6. So the total marks for question 1 is 6. And the total mark for question 2 is also 6. So the marks goes like this. Question 1, question 2 is 6 marks. Question 3 and 4 is 7 marks each one. All right. And then question 5 and 6 is 6, 7, 8 marks. Okay. And the next two questions is 9 marks. Okay. So it goes like this. So you have 8 questions for structure. So it's like 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9. Okay. And that will give you a total of, I think it's about, it's already 60 marks. Yeah. Okay, including your, it's already 60 marks there. All right, so it's quite a number of marks, quite a lot of marks. Later on, we go to the essay. All right, so I'll share screen now. All right, I hope you can see this. All right, okay, so I've just prepared, you call technique menjawab. So let's look at the keywords. Okay, so it's very important for you to recognize the keywords. Okay, the keywords, what you call kata kunci, ataupun you call it tugasan soalan. What does the question want you to answer? Okay, so I want to give you a few keywords that once you see the keyword, you know what you should answer or how you should answer it. Okay, so let me start with the first slide. Yeah, all right. Let me pull up this one first. Okay, right. Okay, so kata kunci ataupun keywords. Okay, apakah kata kunci yang perlu kita tekankan? What are the keywords that we should look at, we should pay attention to? Okay, so for the first two questions, all right, I've gone through a few questions, right? I've chosen 2 questions for you today. We are going to look at the example questions. Usually the first 2 questions are the easiest question for the structure. Okay, I'm sure you know that. Now everybody will answer it very well, the first 2 questions, because they're easy. But even though it's easy, you must know how to answer it. Okay, first of all, like name or state. Okay, in BM we call it namakan ataupun nyatakan. Now this is probably the easiest question. Okay, what you need to do is you just name, usually just one word or one phrase, and be careful, you need to have the correct spelling. Okay, so I'm not too sure how the scheme goes because this is the format baru, it's a new format. So you could be penalized if the spelling is wrong. Now I'll give you a simple example. Okay, for example, mitochondria. Okay, so there are 2 answers that we can accept. It's either mitochondrion or mitochondria. But be careful with the spelling. When you say mitochondrion, 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 D-R-I-O-N. It is not D-R-I-A-N. Okay, so if it's D-R-I-A-N, it could be wrong. But if you say mitochondria, it's correct. mitochondria is correct. So you see, be careful. It's not mitochondrion, A-N, salah. It's mitochondria, betul. I-A, betul. Okay, but mitochondrion, O-N is betul. Okay, so be careful, yeah. So let me just write it here. I think you'll be a bit confused what I'm trying to tell you. So for the words, certain for answers. So let's say we have mitochondrion. Mitochondrion, betul. Okay, mitochondria. Correct. But there is no such thing as mitochondrion. This is wrong. I do not accept this. Okay, so be careful with your words. Be careful with your spelling. Okay, last is the easiest one. So you just nyatakan, that means you state, you just say the word, spell it correctly, no need to explain, nothing. And it's usually 1 mark. Okay, biasanya soalan ni hanya membawa markah 1 sahaja. Jadi sangat mudah. Okay, next. Explain. Explain ini konsep dia punya lebih tinggi. So it's a little bit higher. Not just naming, you don't need to, not only just remembering, you need to explain. So here usually it's more than 1 mark. Usually 2 up to 3 marks. Okay, in BM we say terangkan. So terangkan, you need to explain. Not just, definitely it cannot be 1 word. Okay, you cannot explain something using 1 word. You need to explain using a sentence. It can be an incomplete sentence, but your facts must be there. Okay, you must explain how this works, or how does this thing help this animal overcome this problem or whatever problem it has. Okay, so it's quite similar to what we have described. Okay, so we have another one, it's called describe. Describe is like, for example, how does this thing help? How does villus, okay, what do you call that? Allow the efficient absorption of nutrients. Okay, how? So in BM we say huraikan. Okay, explain. Bagaimanakah? So explaining. This one again, it cannot be 1 word. It has to be a sentence describing something, usually 2 to 3 marks. Okay, but for question 1, I would expect it's just 2 marks because maximum is only 6 marks for the first question. You can't, if you give too many marks to 1 question, you find you have less marks to give for the other questions. Okay, now let's go to the next one, suggest. Okay, cadangkan. Suggest, you must give a solution. Okay, or how, or suggest means like the answer could be more than 1. Okay, as long as your answer fits the scheme of the pemeriksaan, okay, then it's considered correct. Okay, and if you have something that is out of their scheme, all right, of course, they will already have a fixed set of answers. So if it's not in the scheme, all right, they will not accept it because they have actually thought out very carefully. They would have bermesyarat. They have already gone through a lot of the possible answers that the candidates could give, and they have already singled out what are the correct answers that they are going to. It's quite a long, big range. So don't worry. Their answers will quite encompass quite a number of cara-cara technique, okay, or suggestion. So don't worry, but you can't argue because if your answer is not in that list, there's no way you can argue, all right? Because the whole of Malaysia, all the pemeriksaan will mark it the same way. So if it's wrong here, another candidate writes the same answer, it's also considered wrong. Okay, we want to be fair to everybody. Okay, now next, state the similarities or differences. Nyatakan persamaan atau perbezaan. Okay, so today's video, I'm going to just explain these 5. Okay, we just narrow down to these 5 keywords that you will encounter in probably question 1, 2, and also maybe 3 and 4. All right, and then I want you to know what you need to write. Okay, so especially for the 5th one, state the similarities or differences, nyatakan persamaan atau perbezaan. So kebanyakan murid dia ada cara tersendiri untuk menjawab. Jadi I will tell you which is the right one and which is the wrong one. Okay, right, let's go to the questions. Right, now let's give you a simple question. Okay, so this is on form 4, right? Organisasi cell. When you talk about the functions of certain organelles and so on. Okay, let's look at the first question. This is a look at the focus, the soalan first. Okay, diagram 1 shows a palisade mesophyll cell on a leaf. Okay, so you need to know that it is a plant cell. Okay, make sure do not talk about animal cell. It is a leaf and it's a palisade mesophyll cell. Raja 1 menunjukkan satu sel mesophyll palisade. Jadi ini mestilah satu sel yang mempunyai chloroplast. Okay, so you need to know that are the chloroplasts, are the nucleus. So you can see from the diagram there, these are the labels that you need to identify. Okay, so question pertama, okay, A1. Name the components labeled K and M. Okay, so this is probably the simplest question. Name. All right, so you just need to name. All right, so K, you see how you see there's only one of it, so it definitely has to be the nucleus. Okay, and you can see many of the L. This one has to be the chloroplast because we're talking about mesophyll palisade cells or palisade mesophyll. It has to have nucleus. So simple, right? This one everybody can answer, right? K is nucleus and M is, oh sorry, not L, talking about M. Yeah, M is the vacuum. So M, sorry, I lost focus. L is the chloroplast. Okay, so if you ask for M, M is the vacuum. All right, so very simple. And make sure the spelling is correct. Like I said, they could penalize you. All right. Okay, go to the next one. Look at the same diagram again. All right, palisade mesophyll cell in diagram is densely packed with component L. Now we talk about L. So L is the chloroplast. You need to identify what it is first. Question, explain how component L helps the process of photosynthesis in leaves. Okay, so your keyword here is explain how. All right, what does it do? What does it do? Okay, that means the function. So, sel mesophyll palisade dalam raja satu padat dengan komponen L. Terangkan bagaimana komponen L membantu proses fotosintesis dalam daun. Jadi, anda mesti nyatakan fungsi organel tersebut, komponen tersebut. Okay, so answer. Alright, okay, answer, very simple. You need to know that chloroplast, or we has the chlorophyll, it traps. Okay, so chloroplast has chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is the pigment. Pigment akan memerangkap tenaga cahaya matahari. So traps the sunlight. So component B contains chlorophyll, which traps or absorbs light energy. So this is your P1, which you need to mention the function. What does it do? Now you notice the question here is 2 marks. If you just answer this, you cannot expect to have 2 marks because this is only 1 mark. You need to think about something to say, something else to say, so to qualify you for 2 marks. Okay, so that now because you look at the keyword here, densely packed, padat. Talk about why should it be padat. Okay, not just talk about the function. The function, you know, it traps light energy, but you see the keyword here that you say it is also because of densely packed. Why do you need a lot of it? Why do you need a lot of it? So that your photosynthesis can be carried out efficiently. Okay, supaya proses photosynthesis akan berjalan dengan lebih berkesan, dengan kadar yang lebih tinggi. So that is your P2. Alright, if you just write P1, at most it's just 1 mark. But look at it, they also want 10, densely packed and padat. Alright, so they say why you need a lot of it. Okay, so P1 point 1, komponen B mengandungi chlorophyll yang menyerap atau memerangkap tenaga cahaya. So your P2 talk about why densely packed. So that enables light energy to be absorbed at maximum rate. You can also say more light energy. Okay, has the same meaning as maximum rate, so that photosynthesis can occur or occurs efficiently. Okay, so in BM, membolehkan tenaga cahaya ataupun lebih banyak tenaga cahaya pun boleh letak di sini. Okay, lebih banyak cahaya matahari diserap pada kadar maksimum supaya fotosintesis berlaku secara berkesan. Dapat berlaku dengan berkesan. Okay, so you see, if you only talk about the function, you get 1 mark. But you missed out this one. Why padat? Kenapa dia organel ni ada padat di dalam sel tersebut. Alright, okay, so don't miss out all these important things. Alright, let's go to the next question. Alright, it's still question 1, but second part, B. Alright, let's look at this. Okay, so you have a statement here. Besides palisade mesophyll cells, spongy mesophyll cells are also found in the leaf. Okay, as you remember, there are 2 types of cells in the leaf which has chloroplast. Okay, which is the mesophyll palisade yang berbentuk panjang, right? And they tersusun secara what? They are arranged very neatly, very orderly. on the top surface layer of the, on the surface of the, the layer after the epidermis. And you have the mesophyll, spongy mesophyll cells, which are loosely arranged, which are more spherical in shape, which are on the next layer after the mesophyll palisade. Okay, so state two differences between palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll cells. Okay, so nyatakan dua perbezaan antara sel mesophyll palisade dan sel mesophyll berspan. So here look at the marks. Again, a tip here. Always look at the marks before you answer, because your marks will tell you how much you should write. So if you have 2 marks, you need to have 2 points. Okay, so this one is a difference question that requires you to compare two things. So when you want to answer these kind of questions, be careful. Every point you talk about, you have to compare between the two things. So you cannot be, what I mean is, you cannot say everything about the palisade mesophyll cell, okay, in one sentence, and then you say another sentence, you talk about the spongy mesophyll cell, because you are not comparing, okay? So jangan tulis semua tentang sel mesophyll palisade sahaja, lepas itu anda tulis pula tentang sel mesophyll berspan. So biasanya kita akan bandingkan dua-dua item itu dalam satu ayat. So your answer should be talk about the same thing. That means you must talk about the arrangement. Look at the first point, P1. Palisade mesophyll cells are closely arranged while, manakala, ataupun or while, you can say but, you can also say but, spongy mesophyll cells are loosely arranged. So you can see the point they are comparing is the same thing, which is the arrangement. Okay, you're talking about two things, item A, item B, in terms of arrangement, put in one sentence. That's how you get your 1 mark. If you put them separately, there's no comparison. If there's no comparison, you may not get your mark because the pemeriksa doesn't see your comparison. Okay, all right. Okay, so trap sunlight. Yeah, correct, Zina. Correct. I'm just reading your comment again. Sorry, a bit slow. Okay, so SMP is sel mesophyll palisade tersusun rapat, manakala sel mesophyll berspan tersusun longgar. So that is your point here. The difference in the arrangement. So talk about another one. Because it's only 1 mark, you're going to talk about another one. So think about everything that you can talk about. There's a lot. Okay, talk about the shape. Okay. The shape of mesophyll cells. Sorry, this is palisade. Of palisade. I missed out one word. Palisade mesophyll cells are rectangular. Okay, they are long, rectangular, all right, and they are like box, right, a box shape. While spongy mesophyll cells are irregularly shaped, or you can also say spherical in shape. That means it's a bit round. So that is the difference in terms of the shape. So SMP, cell mesophyll palisade, don't put short form like this in your answer. This is for me because my slide is limited. I cannot put in the the full name of your, because I'm doing DWIBAHASA, okay? Please do not use abbreviations like this in your answer, okay? Because these are not accepted, except for things like DNA, you can use. You write the first time in full, the second time you can use DNA because it's acceptable abbreviation. Ini singkatan yang telah persetujui, yang telah diterima. But don't make your own, abbreviation like this. So SMP ialah sel mesophyll palisade berbentuk segi 4 bujur, manakala sel mesophyll berspan tiada bentuk tetap ataupun berbentuk sfera. Okay, so that's the second point. Okay, now you can also talk about other things. It doesn't mean these are the 2 points that you have. You can talk about this P3. Okay, palisade mesophyll cells have more. Wrong side. Sorry. Have more chloroplasts, while spongy mesophyll cells have less chloroplasts. Now here you're talking about the abundance of chloroplasts. Both same point, but this has more, this has less. Okay, so SMP mempunyai banyak chloroplast, manakala sel mesophyll berspan kurang chloroplast. So you can see here in the examiner scheme, there will be more than 2 answers. So as long as your answers fit that scheme, you get it right. Okay, so don't worry. Normally all these differences or similarities, they have more than the marks here. So 2 marks doesn't mean they only accept 2. They can accept more than that, as long as it's in the list that they have. All right, okay. Now let's go on to the next question. All right, question 2. So we're done with question 1. Is already 6 marks there. Okay, let me check. It's already 6 marks. Here is 2. The previous one was, let me check. Yeah, 2, and the previous one was 2. All right, okay, so let's go on to the next one. Question 2, also 6 marks. This one is on the nephron. Okay, this the mechanism of urine production, nephron here. So question 2. Diagram 2 shows the structure of a nephron. Okay, diagram 2 menunjukkan struktur satu nephron. Okay, so you need to identify the parts here, but of course they will not be asking for A to E. They normally just ask you for two of the labels. Okay, so name the parts A and E. Very simple. That means you cannot run away. Either you know or you don't know this one, right? So it can be said it's easy. They can also say it's difficult. If you do not know, it'll be difficult for you lah, because there's no way you can guess it. But if you know it, definitely it is a mark that we say dalam pocket. That means that definitely you get the mark already. So it's very simple. So name the parts A and E. So they want, make sure you look carefully. I've got students who always will take the first two and name A and B. Then you're wrong. Be careful. You want to make sure you underline and look carefully, or you circle it. Okay, I have a question here. Let me try to add. Cikgu perbezaan boleh tulisan bentuk jadual tak? Yes, but this is a structure. Lao UG, Lao UG. This is a structure, so there's no need jadual. You're talking about essay, right? Yeah, if essay, you can, but make sure that you don't talk about just one point or one sentence and one word and one word when you're not clear in the perbezaan. You have to write the whole sentence, all right? What whole sentence you can put in a jadual. I assume you're talking about essay because this is structure question I'm talking about. Okay, so make sure you write the perbezaan. You can put in a table form, but make sure it is a sentence, because you cannot explain it clearly if it's not a sentence. You cannot be just putting the aspect that you're comparing, which is no meaning. All right, so make sure you're comparing the same thing also. Point tu mesti berpadanan. You talk about chloroplast, you talk about less chloroplast, it's not more chloroplast. Don't talk about something else, otherwise the whole thing is wrong. Okay, let's go to A and E. Okay, A, I'm sure you know what that is, right? That is the capillary. All right, that's the capillaries that is actually from the renal artery that goes into here, and then it forms this glomerulus that will, you have the ultrafiltration there later. All right, so this is glomerulus. No other answers acceptable, only glomerulus. And for E, this is the collecting duct or ductus pengumpul. Okay, so the B is the proximal, okay, the tubule belinca proximal. C is the licu Henle. D is tubule belinca distal. Okay, in English it's called distal convoluted tubule. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, question B. State the method of reabsorption. So this is also a method. There is only one mark. You can see that you do not need to explain. State the method is just one word because it has a name. This method has a name. You don't need to describe the method. Don't need to describe because they only want the name. All right. Method of sodium absorption, reabsorption of sodium in C. So this is loop of Henle ataupun liku Henle. So here you have reabsorption of water. You have reabsorption of sodium and also reabsorption of chloride ion, ion chloride. So this happens through the form of active transport, okay, or pengangkutan aktif. All right, okay. So it's simple. Like I said, state or name just the term. Usually the easiest. You can say easy if you know it lah. You can say it's difficult if you do not know it. Definitely it's considered difficult because there's no way you can guess. All right, either you know it or you don't know it. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next question. So this one, C. How does ultrafiltration take place? Okay, how? So how, as you know, you cannot be answered with just one word. So you have to describe it. Then you have at least 2 marks. It could be 3. Okay, sometimes it could be 3 because when you have more points, it could be 3. So actually here there are 3 points here, but if you answer any 2 of them, you should be able to get your full mark. All right. So how? So this is ultrafiltration. Okay, how does it happen? You need to have pressure. The pressure to push the items in the glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule. So how do you get that pressure? You need to explain where do you get the thing being pushed into it? It's because of the hydrostatic pressure, which is higher, all right, in the glomerulus. Okay, answer? So blood entering the glomerulus is under high hydrostatic pressure. Okay, not high blood pressure, it's a different thing. You must say high hydrostatic pressure. High blood pressure is different because you're talking about that. Let's say when you want to measure your blood pressure, you talk about high blood pressure, someone who's got hypertension. That is for the systemic organs. But when you talk about this hydrostatic pressure, is the pressure of the liquid. Okay, because of the diameter of the capillary, the afferent. The afferent is the one that goes in. Afferent arteriole. The one that comes out, yang keluar itu ialah efferent, arterial efferent. Okay, so now you see. So the second point is you have under high pressure now. All right, so that pressure actually pushes these items out. Okay, so P2, the diameter, wait for some, so let's P3, sorry. So the diameter of afferent arteriole is larger than the diameter of efferent arteriole. That's why the hydrostatic pressure is there. Okay, hydrostatic pressure is there because of the afferent arteriole, the diameter of the afferent. You can see. I don't know whether you can. Let me zoom in. Normally, when they draw it, they will draw this bigger. You can see here. This side, I can't draw when I zoom it. You can see here. This one, the diameter of the afferent will be bigger diameter compared to the other side. This is the efferent. Okay, right. So diameter. This is to explain why you have a high hydrostatic pressure, because the diameter of afferent arteriole is larger than the diameter of the efferent arteriole. Okay, so this is A. Easy to remember. A comes first, right? E is later. E is coming out. So A goes in, E comes out. Okay, so point ketiga, this pressure causes fluid. Okay, fluid means all the items that are supposed to all the liquid part, liquid component of the blood, okay, to seep through the walls of glomerulus capillaries into the cavity of the Bowman's capsule. So the cavity of the Bowman's capsule, we're talking about the empty space here. This is the Bowman's capsule. All right. This is the cavity lah. All right. Cavity is the empty space there. Okay. Let's see the BM equivalent of the schema or the answer. Okay. So how does ultrafiltration take place in A? So in BM, so you talk about the darah yang memasuki glomerulus mempunyai tekanan hydrostatic yang tinggi. Okay, so that's one point already. You have to mention the tekanan hydrostatic yang tinggi. So why do you get the hydrostatic tekanan hydrostatic yang tinggi? Because of the diameter. Disebabkan diameter arterial afferent, the one that goes in here, lebih besar. Okay, diameter lebih besar daripada diameter arterial efferent, the one that goes up here. So ini mewujudkan satu tekanan hidrostatik yang tinggi. Jadi tekanan inilah yang menyebabkan bendalia dalam darah tu meresap. Okay, meresap maksudnya keluar, meresap melalui dinding capillary glomerulus ke mana? Ke dalam bronchial capsule Bowman. Okay, so you can see here ada 3 point. Tapi markanya 2. Kalau anda letak 3 lagi bagus. Okay, you get full mark. Kalau biasanya kita ada 3 point sini, kita mana-mana 2 point, anda boleh nyatakan anda juga akan dapat markah 2 markah. Sudah maksimum lah. Alright, okay. So it is actually not difficult. If you know what the question wants. Of course, you must have your facts. Yeah. Ini tak boleh goreng ya. Ada aerobic. Memang tak boleh goreng sebab senang boleh kira anda tahu apa nak jawab. Tapi kalau you goreng memang hangus lah sebab you don't have the facts. Okay. Okay, next one. Last question. Alright. Last question. I think there is a question here. Can I write blood osmotic pressure? Blood osmotic pressure. No, it's hydrostatic pressure. Yeah. DR, Dr. CH. It's not blood osmotic pressure. It is the hydrostatic pressure. Because you're talking about the fluid being able to be deturas or being pushed out is because of the water. Hydrostatic pressure is actually the pressure of the water. Water means the liquid component. So osmotic pressure referring to the all this because of the kepekatan of the amino, the plasma protein lah, okay, all the plasma that causes the osmotic pressure is high. But as you know, plasma protein cannot come out. Okay, so it's not the osmotic pressure that causes the fluid to flow out. It is a hydrostatic pressure. So gunakan istilah yang betul lah. So saya tidak akan terima jawapan kalau osmotic pressure because it's basically they're talking about two things yang berbeza. Okay, yeah, alright, good question. Alright, next one. Suggest one activity. Ini kebat sikit lah, hot sikit lah. One activity that causes the walls of E. Now this is now the what? Ductus pengumpul lah. To become more permeable to water. Cadangkan. Jadi berikan. There can be more than one answer. Okay. Cadangkan satu aktiviti yang menyebabkan dinding E menjadi lebih telap terhadap air. What does it mean by lebih telap kepada air? More permeable to water means what? That means, you see, this is the last place where all this liquid that goes in will be collected here. It is going to come out as urine, right? Okay, ini akan menjadi air kencing yang akan dikeluarkan. So you see, before it comes into here, all this process of reabsorption is happening. Okay, to reabsorb back the things that the body needs. For example, water, sodium, okay, glucose, amino acid. So menyerap semula maksudnya menyerap benda yang badan perlukan, including water. So when you want to menyerap balik, that means the water must be allowed to pass through, isn't it? So allowed to pass through. Nah, ini blood lah. Ini yang disebabkan ini sebenarnya menunjukkan darah. So this is capillary. This is referring to capillary darah. Okay, capillary darah. So it must be allowed to go back. That means there must be pause. Permeable means allow. Allow the thing to pass through. So water is allowed to pass through. That means the body wants to take back more water. So now think, what kind of activity will be happening in our body when we need to take back more water? That means our body is lacking of water. Okay, apakah aktiviti yang menyebabkan badan kita akan menyerap balik lebih banyak air? So more permeable to water means kita nak mengambil balik atau menyerap balik air ke dalam badan kita. Jadi maksudnya air kencing akan kurang lah. Jadi kita akan serap balik air. Okay, kita nak serap balik air. So think, that means our body must be lacking water. Apakah aktiviti yang menyebabkan badan kita akan kekurangan air? Okay. Tapi berlari sahaja. Chris Emmanuel. Berlari is a good answer, but it's not enough. Because you berlari saja, tapi tidak menunjukkan apakah keperluan air itu. Kenapa you berlari, you akan serap lebih banyak air. You mesti kata apa? You mesti kata berpeluh. Okay? Berpeluh itu yang penting. Kalau berlari tapi tak berpeluh, you tak akan perlu ambil balik banyak air. Kan? Isn't it? So that's why the question, the students sometimes they don't think so far ahead. They just say, okay, berlari. You berlari betul. Aktiviti yang cergas. Tapi you mesti cakap di mana anda mengeluarkan banyak peluh. Where you will be losing water and minerals lah through the sweating. So the word sweating is important here. Okay, so you will say berlari, saya rasa tidak betul lah. Ya, tak akan dapat markah. So okay, let's see the answer. So answer that was only one answer. Anyone answer anything else? Okay, Chris baru faham lah. Okay, so kadang-kadang kita kena berfikir lebih dalam sikit. Think of it one more level. Because you berlari tapi tak berpeluh, tak akan ada efek juga kan? Okay, so vigorous exercise that causes excessive sweating. Okay, itulah yang kita nak lihat. Excessive sweating. Senaman cergas, you can say berlari kuat. Okay, tapi menyebabkan kehilangan peluh yang banyak. Itu yang poin yang penting. Itu baru kita boleh bagi markah. Sebab dia menunjukkan kalau you hilang peluh, you hilang air. That's why you need to bring back water. You need to absorb back water. Okay, so that's what I mean. Student, you ada idea. Bagus, Chris, ada idea. Cuma cara menjawab itu tidak kena kepada skema jawapan. Okay, faham? Jawapan yang memang betul, berlari tapi kena berpeluh baru betul. Okay, ya. Alright. So, I need more questions that I can answer. Yeah, I think I've already answered these 3 questions here. Okay, so today's one is simple and light because question 1 and 2 is simple. All right. So I hope to have more keywords that I can give you because I can put here is 0, 1. This is my first video for answering technique. So I will try to get you more next lesson. All right. Okay. So thank you very much for joining my class. It's a short one because I'm just tackling question 1 and 2. So later on, we'll go to more difficult questions. Okay. So I hope to see you in the next video. Okay. So you can share my link. If you want to see more videos, you go to my YouTube channel here, /C/BeiChong, right? You just type in the name there. You can see all the videos and so on. Okay. You can share it. So I hope to make another video next week. All right. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. I have any Telegram group? Yes. You can PM me Telegram. All right. Let me type in my Telegram. What here? Let me just write in Telegram. All right. Okay. Thank you everyone. Joanne, Jai, Lau WJ, Min Yin. Okay. Atira, cikgu. Atira ada cikgu kot. Okay. Let me type in my. Kalau you nak tanya apa-apa, kalau saya boleh jawab, saya akan jawab lah ya. Kalau tak boleh, saya tak berani. Inilah, saya tak berani. Sorry. Ya, correct. Saya tak berani kalau saya tak pasti. Kalau saya pasti, saya boleh jawab. Okay, so I will give you my Telegram here. Okay, so thank you very much and hope to see you next week. All right. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. See you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Biscuit. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.